Have you ever spent ages looking for your keys or your phone, getting more and more frustrated only to finally find them sitting right out in the open, exactly where you already looked a dozen times? You stare at them in disbelief and you think, how could I have possibly missed that? It's a common infuriating little moment, but what if I told you that this simple game of hide and seek with your own brain holds a profound world-shattering secret about the nature of consciousness itself? Today we're going to play a game called Hide the Thimble, and by the end you'll realize that seeing is not what you think it is, and the very fabric of your reality is a carefully constructed achievement, not a simple fact. For centuries, philosophers have talked about a concept called intentionality, which is just a fancy word for aboutness. How is it that a thought inside your head can be suddenly about a tree outside your window? It's like your mind is aiming a bow and arrow at something in the world. But this isn't some magical, instantaneous process. Real aiming, real aboutness is a messy, active, continuous effort. It's about tracking, locking on, making tiny adjustments, and keeping your target in the crosshairs even when there are distractions. And this active process is the key to unlocking one of the deepest mysteries of the mind. So, let's play. Imagine you are a kid at a party. An adult shows everyone a small silver thimble. Then, everyone but one person leaves the room. The thimble is hidden, but with a crucial rule, it must be hidden in plain sight. It can't be under a cushion or inside a book. It has to be right out in the open, camouflaged against the visual noise of the living room, perhaps resting on a silver candlestick or nestled among the patterns of the wallpaper. Now, all the kids rush back in and the hunt begins. One by one, they spot it and quietly sit down, trying not to give away the location. You are one of the last ones, still searching. The other kids are giggling. You can feel their eyes on you. You know from their reactions that you must be looking right at it. Your mom might even whisper that famous phrase, if it were a bear, it would bite you. And in that moment of supreme frustration, light from the thimble is absolutely entering your eyes. It is creating a perfect, tiny image on your retinas. The raw data is flowing into your visual cortex. From a third-person neurological point of view, the information representing the thimble is undeniably present somewhere in your brain. But are you conscious of it? Number. Not yet. You are conscious of your search for the thimble. You have a search image in your mind. But no state in your brain is truly sunny about the thimble out there in the world until, bam, suddenly it happens. Your brain finally separates the figure of the thimble from the ground of the candlestick. You zero in. You lock on. The thimble snaps into existence for you. It is no longer just a collection of photons. It is a thin thing you are acquainted with, a thing you can now point to, think about, and act upon. This isn't just a metaphor. This is exactly what happens with expert birdwatchers. Two people can be staring at the exact same patch of leaves. One, the expert, says, "Aha, I see it, a Blackburnian warbler." The other, the novice, sees only a chaotic mess of green and brown, even though they are certain the light from the bird is hitting their eyes. The expert has achieved a state of consciousness that the novice has not. This concept goes even deeper when we move beyond sight. Think of a student learning to be a piano tuner. At first, when they strike two notes that are slightly out of tune, all they hear is a messy, unpleasant sound. The instructor tells them to listen for the beats, a rhythmic pulsing, wah-wah-wah, sound created by the interference of the two sound waves. The beats were always physically there. Their eardrums were vibrating with that exact pattern from the very beginning, but the student couldn't hear them. After weeks of training, something clicks. They learn to isolate that pattern. Their conscious experience has literally changed. It has been augmented. They are now conscious of something they were previously deaf to, even though the raw auditory data was always present. This is the difference between unconscious processing and true conscious awareness. But now, let's take this idea to a radical sci-fi extreme that is actually real. Meet the pioneers of prosthetic vision. Decades ago, a scientist named Paul Bach-y-Rita developed a device for blind people. It consisted of a video camera mounted on a pair of glasses connected to a grid of hundreds of tiny vibrating points, or tactors, strapped to the person's back or stomach. Whatever the camera saw was translated into a low-resolution pattern of tingles on their skin. After just a few hours of training, the results were astonishing. The blind subjects could learn to see through this grid. They could identify objects, navigate rooms, and even recognize faces from the buzzing patterns on their skin. But here is where it gets truly mind-bending. After a while, the subjects stopped feeling the tingles on their back. Their brain learned to treat the device as a transparent window to the world. Their point of view literally shifted from their body to the camera on their head. In one incredible demonstration, an experimenter secretly hit the zoom button on the camera. The image on the subject's side back suddenly loomed larger. Instinctively, the blind man lurched backward and threw up his arms to protect his head from the object he was seeing through the camera. So I ask you, was he seeing, or was he just feeling tingles on his skin in a very sophisticated way? This brings us to the final, most mysterious piece of the puzzle, qualia. Qualia is the philosophical term for the raw feelings of experience, the redness of red, the coldness of ice, the specific what it is likeness of seeing versus hearing. Bach-y-Rita's subjects could get all the functional information about the world. They could identify a face, but they reported something was missing. When shown pictures of nudes, they could describe the content, but they felt nothing. The experience had no emotional or affectual component. It didn't feel twin-like seeing. So what if we could upgrade their system? What if we could train a blind sight patient or a user of this device to the point where they could do everything a sighted person could do, with the same speed and detail? Imagine you meet this person reading a newspaper, chuckling at the comics. You ask them what it is like. They might say, well, it is very much like seeing. I react to colors, shapes, and locations without even thinking about it. But then they add, and yet something is still missing. I have perceptual states, but they don't have the old, sooty visual qualia. It is just not the same. Does that final complaint even make sense? Or have we just revealed that qualia, these supposedly private, ineffable feelings, are not some magical add-on to information processing, but are themselves tied to the richness, the speed, and the deep-seated connections that normal vision has built up over a lifetime? The game of hide the thimble has led us here, to the edge of what we know about ourselves. It teaches us that your conscious world isn't given to you. It is an achievement. It is something your brain has to fight for, moment by moment, locking onto the world and, in the process, bringing both the world and you into being.